and you can tell instantly. It's like watching a glitch try to pretend it has emotions. But it's not just the budget visuals and AI weirdness. We gotta talk about Katie's own performance. Her dancing looks stiff, slow, and honestly, she seems out of breath half the time. It instantly made me think of that Taylor Swift interview where she said she trained on a treadmill while singing every day to prep for her Eras tour. Because yeah, putting on a real show takes actual stamina. And Katie, she ain't keeping up. Just look at her on stage. There's no fire in her moves. It's like even she doesn't believe the hype. She's yelling, "Let's go, people!" But there's no energy behind it. I mean, I can't dance to save my life, but I could have done that. And she's out here getting paid millions for it? Please. And okay, maybe it's just me. But why is this giving Ozempic vibes? Like, the way she moves makes you wonder, sure, she's slimmed down, but is she actually in shape? Because skinny doesn't always mean strong. No hate, but it's a fair question. And no, I'm not on Ozempic myself. If I was, I'd be the first to tell you. But this ain't looking like fitness, it's looking like someone trying to coast through with smoke and mirrors. All that hype, it's just slimming her down. It ain't doing anything else. One comment nailed it. Close enough. Another person joked, J-Lo can finally breathe again. And Ashlyn Walker came in with a savage line. I love living in the timeline where I'm cooler than Katy Perry. But not everyone's trying to be funny. Some folks are straight up fed up. One person flat out wrote, Katy Perry, please stop. And another said, Katy Perry gives me the creeps. Yikes. But let's talk about one of the cringiest moments on the tour, the so-called choreography. And here's the kicker. It looked like Katie was trying to do her own version of what PNK's famous for. You know how PNK's always flying around with those aerial stunts, spinning from ropes, belting out vocals mid-air? It's wild. Now, I don't always get why she does it, but at least she makes it look fun and high energy. It's kinda her thing now, but Katie? Oh no. She tried to tap into that vibe and it looked like they practiced for maybe 2 minutes backstage before hitting the stage. It was awkward, messy, zero finesse. The ropes looked random, and the movements were clunky like they didn't know what to do up there. It was more like a slow-motion tangle than a performance. Now, random shift here, but it came up, so let's keep it real. You know what's even worse than messing up on stage? Getting hurt and then having to deal with insurance companies who try to dodge responsibility. They'll drag it out, lowball you, and hope you just give up. That's why some people call in firms like Morgan & Morgan. They're the biggest injury law squad in the game. Because at the end of the day, insurance companies? They're not looking out for you. Facts. Morgan & Morgan isn't playing games. They've got over 1,000 attorneys and have helped millions of clients. We're talking billions in verdicts and settlements, including a $26 million payout in Philly. And get this, it was 40 times more than what the insurance company originally tried to offer. That's wild. And the best part? They don't charge you anything up front. No consultation fees, no hourly rates, no sneaky hidden charges. Nada. If you get hurt and need backup, they've got your back. Real heavy. You can just hit up forthepeople.com/Sloan or scan the QR code on the screen to start your claim. For real, you could probably file before this video even ends. It doesn't hurt to find out what you're owed. Big shout out to Morgan & Morgan for sponsoring this video. Now back to the mess. First off, peep this landing. Katie goes flying onto a dancer and looks like she's about to slide clean off to the side. It's clumsy and chaotic. And don't even get me started on the outfits. What is this mess? One of the dancers is in fur boots and shorts like they're confused about the season. And then, boom, here comes Katie leaping like she's in an obstacle course, and she completely skips over someone like it's part of a game. No joke, she literally jumps on the back of someone's neck. That looks like an injury just waiting to happen. As someone with serious neck pain myself, nah, I felt that one deep. Someone on that stage better be seeing a chiropractor after this tour. They should honestly lift her another foot in the air. She looks way too close to the ground. The whole setup is shaky. And my brain kept going, what if those cables snap? That'd be terrifying. Like, why are we risking all this for a move that doesn't even add to the performance? It just feels extra and pointless. Like, okay, she's out here flipping in the air, but she can't even land it cleanly. Poor Katy Perry. What is she doing to herself? Watching this unfold makes you wonder, if you were in her shoes as an artist, wouldn't you want to bow out on a high note? Instead, we're watching what feels like the leftovers of a contract she couldn't escape. It's giving had to drop an album energy, and now we're stuck with this chaos. One comment said it best. Every video I see of Katy Perry's tour, I just see her flying around. Larissa joked, the space trip was so short, Katy Perry didn't even have time to get her gravity back. And Rocky Mo came with the real shade. At least PNK sings live while flying. Oof. Jules dropped this gem too. Every video I've seen so far has been giving first rehearsal energy, while Sada added, seriously, this is painful to watch. And they're not wrong. One thing about Katy, she loves being in the air. During Roar, she's literally floating around on what looks like a big metallic butterfly. Like, give Katy anything that flies or spins, and she's on it. I swear I saw her riding a giant hot dog once, but maybe that was Miley? Either way, I remember some other tour where she rode a huge robotic horse for Dark Horse. She's clearly obsessed with floating props and aerial stunts. But my favorite moment in this bizarre show, it's gotta be when she goes toe-to-toe with a heating tube monster during her performance of E.T. Not kidding. There's this AI-generated background with a metallic creature made out of what looks like a twisted heater vent, and suddenly one of its legs kicks out. And what does Katy do? She fights it. Yup, she battles this thing and ends up defeating it. It's pure chaos, and I can't tell if it's supposed to be serious or a meme come to life. It's honestly giving nothing. Like, what even is this scene supposed to be? She's out here swinging at some kind of snake-like creature that's barely puffing out fog. And I mean barely. There's like one sad cloud of mist, and that's it. Then boom, she wins the battle. But let's be real. The vocals? Those did not come out victorious. Tough to admit, but it's just not hitting. Now here's a wild moment. During one of the shows, a fan in the crowd yells out, Katy, ya eres Mexicana, which is a pretty common fan chant that means, Katy girl, you're already Mexican. She hears it, laughs, and then starts twerking to the beat. But the way she stops and asks, what does this mean? What does this mean? Had everyone cringing. Like, girl, come on. She's got that full-on white girl awkwardness going strong. And I say that as a white dude myself. White boy awkward, I get it. But Katy takes it to a whole new level on stage sometimes. That said, not everyone thought it was a mess. Some fans really thought she was serving in those first show videos. But let's not pretend the backlash wasn't loud either. People have been dragging her for the weird choreography, or just the plain lack of it. And if you remember from that Blinded and Breakdown episode, there was even talk that some of the dancers were threatening to walk off the tour. Why? Because they didn't want their names or skills tied to this circus. That's rough. One person summed it up perfectly. Maybe instead of going to space, Katy should have been rehearsing her fight moves a little more. And honestly, they're not wrong. Honestly, the last solid move Katy Perry made was being a judge on American Idol. That could have been her golden ticket into legacy status, like easy lane, chill career, respected name. But nope, she clearly still sees herself as a current A-list pop star, chasing that spotlight like it's still 2010. But the truth? She's just not there anymore. Remember how she tried to hype her setlist by dropping it during a space flight? Yeah, No one cared. Crickets. And now Camila Cabello low-key threw some shade, but in the nicest way possible. Like, she didn't go full savage, but the jab was there. Camila posted on TikTok, "Didn't have the budget to fly to space to promote my tour date, so I made this TikTok instead." Oop, now let's be real. Camila ain't exactly on fire either. Her career's been thirsty for attention too, so maybe she's not the one to throw shade. But that little dig? It definitely landed. And to be fair, it probably got her name trending again for the first time in a minute. Smart move! Honestly, with the way both of them are struggling to hold attention, maybe they should just team up. Get a couple more fading pop acts and throw one big throwback tour. Give each of them like 20 minutes on stage and call it a night. Boom! Done! Fans would probably show up just for the nostalgia. So hey, props to Camila for squeezing her way back into the convo. It's definitely a shady little stunt. But hey, when Katy Perry's flopping this hard, even a TikTok can make someone else look better by comparison. But now I want to hear from you. Are you seriously thinking about going to the Lifetime's tour? Be real with me in the comments. I need boots on the ground. I want to hear all the raw tea firsthand. And before you bounce, make sure to smash that like button, drop a comment, and subscribe so you don't miss the next deep dive. Catch you in the next one. Peace.
Of course, there's like an insatiable frustration, inexplicable, hellish feeling with watching people misunderstand the people you love.
I am gonna be on my way back to New York tomorrow morning, or tonight, and I don't know, you know what we're gonna do? We're gonna breathe a big sigh of...
Welcome back to Drama Uncut, the only place where the tea's always hot and the scandals hit even harder. Today, we're diving deep into the mess Ariana Grande just stirred up. And trust me, this one's wild. By the end of this episode, you'll know exactly what went down with Ariana, the shady leaks, and why fans are roasting her all over again. So grab a seat, because this could be the scandal that finally blows up her marriage for good. This ain't your usual Twitter drama. We're talking full-on chaos, suspicious screenshots, juicy blind items, fan-made timelines, and whispers from insiders, all pointing to one thing. Ariana might be out here cheating again. Like, seriously? Didn't we just go through this? Now let's talk Ethan Slater, once the Broadway golden boy, now allegedly the ghosted ex. This man went from publicly defending Ariana to supposedly throwing all his stuff in a suitcase and vanishing from their circle like he's in a Netflix thriller. People online are calling it karma, saying he should have seen it coming. Let's rewind the tape to January, when the first anonymous blind item hit the net. Boom! Rumors blew up that Ariana was basically done with Ethan. Word is, she mentally checked out long before anyone knew. But Ethan? He was still out here acting like everything was picture perfect. The blind items spilled that she was being distant, cold, and meanwhile, he was the one forcing those awkward public outings to make it look like they were solid. Like, bro? Seriously? It was so obvious to everyone except you. Even insiders were whispering, "This is crashing. Fast." Can you imagine being in a relationship where you're the only one pretending everything's good? That's just sad, man. Straight up cringe. Don't miss what's coming next. We've got way more drama to break down, and it only gets messier from here. So if you're loving this chaotic deep dive, hit that like button, drop a comment with your thoughts, subscribe for more wild tea, and share this with someone who needs to hear it. Let's keep this madness going, because after the SAG Awards, things got real weird. Ariana allegedly went MIA for nearly an hour, and no one had a clue where she vanished to. Like, girl dipped mid-event, and it sent Ethan into a full-on panic. He was running around asking people where she was, losing his mind trying to track her down. Now, here's where it gets spicy. When she finally showed back up, the whispers were already flying. Two mystery names started floating around, both rumored to be with Ariana during her little disappearing act, but neither one ever got confirmed. Straight up shady vibes all around. Fast forward to February, and it's the same old pattern. Ariana hopping from city to city with more secrets than suitcases. But here's the kicker. Rumor has it she might have been getting way too close to Paul Mescal. Yep, that Paul Mescal, the same guy who's been lighting up red carpets and breaking hearts left and right. And honestly, it wouldn't be the first time she was caught up in a new fling while still supposedly locked in with someone else. So now it's not just emotional distance. People think she was physically stepping out too. And then, boom! Gracie Abrams entered the chat and stirred the pot even more. Word on the street is that Gracie was sure Ariana was hooking up with Paul while still tied to Ethan. Can you imagine another celeb kid throwing shade like that? That's bold. And the internet went wild. Oh, and don't forget their last big public moment, the Oscars 2025. They showed up all smiles, holding hands, acting like they were still madly in love. But let's be real, fans weren't buying it. People were already whispering, is this just the final performance before the curtain drops on their relationship? And trust? We're just getting warmed up. Hit that like button if this drama has you shook, smash that subscribe, drop a comment with your hot take, and don't forget to share this with your crew. 'Cause it's only gonna get messier. Turns out the headlines weren't lying. Ariana Grande and Ethan Slater all cuddled up inside Oscars 2025 after gushing over each other on the red carpet. Sounds cute, right? But we all know how this story goes. The smiles fade real quick when the cameras stop flashing. She even said, "His support has been such a gift, like everything was sweet behind the scenes." But now, everyone's asking, was Ariana already emotionally checked out way before we even saw the cracks? Was she just biding her time, waiting for the right moment to dip? Or was this whole relationship a slow-motion crash just waiting to explode? That's why fans are out here doing detective work, building timelines, digging through interviews, comparing paparazzi shots. But here's where it flips again. If Ariana really had something going on with Paul Mescal while still with Ethan, then what was going down with the Dalton divorce? Let's not forget, she and Dalton Gomez amicably split back in 2023. Everyone thought, wow, that's mature, classy, no drama. But plot twist. Ariana didn't actually file the paperwork until February, months after it was supposedly over. For a drama-free split, that's a long delay. Why wait? What was she hiding? And now we gotta ask the real question. Did Dalton already know about Ariana's situation with Ethan before he signed those papers? Because it's kind of sus that she dropped over $1 million to get that settlement locked down and made him sign a non-disclosure agreement. A whole NDA? What was she so desperate to keep under wraps? Maybe Dalton had the tea and was ready to spill it all. Maybe Ariana was racing to cover her tracks before things got messy. Whatever it wasn't just about lawyers and signatures. It was about secrets and the price of silence. And oh, we're not done yet. Smash that like button if this is getting crazier than you expected. Hit subscribe for more unfiltered drama. Drop your theories in the comments. And send this to your bestie who lives for celebrity chaos. Something shady is definitely going on here. And fans aren't staying quiet about it. One person even commented, she paid him over $1 million and made him sign an NDA? Of course she cheated. She's always been a cheater. And honestly, a lot of people are thinking the same thing. Now we have to talk about that song. You know the one. We Can't Be Friends. Yeah, the track that had the internet full-on side-eyeing Ariana like, girl, what is this really about? She was out here pushing the song like it was some deep healing anthem. talking all that boundaries and protecting my peace stuff for the fans. But let's be real, nobody was buying the PR fluff. One user didn't hold back and said, "Is We Can't Be Friends supposed to be for her fans or her ex-husband? Because this sounds like a breakup letter to Dalton, not a love song to the Arianators." And facts were spoken. She literally sings, "I'll wait for your love, I'll wait until you like me again." If that's aimed at her ex, whew, the drama writes itself. It's giving Dalton Gomez heartbreak anthem, not some fan dedication. Now I know what you're thinking. How the heck did Ethan Slater even get wrapped up in all this? Let's rewind. Ariana met Ethan on the set of Wicked and, boom, sparks were flying on and off screen. But here's where it spirals into straight-up chaos. Ethan was still married to Lily J when this all started. That's right, he wasn't exactly single when this love story kicked off. And here's the real jaw-dropper. Word on the street is Lily had no clue about what was going on between Ariana and Ethan. She was blindsided. The chemistry between those two? Rumors say it started simmering behind the scenes real quick, and by the time Lily caught wind of it, the damage was already done. Stick around. This love triangle's about to unravel even more. Don't forget to like this vid if the mess keeps you hooked, hit subscribe for the next wave of tea, and drop a comment with your take. Team Lily, Team Dalton, or Team No One? When Ethan's wife, Lily, finally caught wind of the affair, fans immediately started digging, and what they uncovered? Straight up wild. People pulled out old receipts like it was a full-blown investigation. One fan even brought up that way back in 2014, Big Sean's ex, Naya Rivera, called out Ariana for wrecking her relationship with Sean. So, honestly, are we even surprised anymore? Let's be real. Ariana's relationship history is like a walking tabloid headline, scandal after scandal. So let's run through the mess real quick, shall we? She was with Jai Brooks. Then boom. Rumors say she cheated on him with Nathan Sykes. After that, enter Mac Miller. Sweet couple, right? But then they broke up, and barely a week later, she popped up with Pete Davidson. And let's not forget, Pete had just ended things with Cassie David when Ariana swooped in like nothing happened. Yikes. But here's where it really gets wild. After Mac Miller tragically passed away, Ariana was already engaged to Pete. Just months after her breakup with Mac, like it was no big deal. That move had people seriously questioning how fast she was flipping through relationships. The pattern's loud and clear. Ariana jumps from man to man, barely pausing to breathe in between. It's like once the spark fades, she's already packing up her heart and moving on to the next. And Ethan? She didn't even wait a full year before getting involved. Barely enough time to blink. So now, we've seen it all. Shady timelines, sketchy lyrics, sneaky blind items, and a full track record of high-speed romances like she's playing emotional Mario Kart. Yet somehow, there are still fans out here defending her like she's the one who got blindsided. Like, for real? Some folks are acting like she's the victim in all this. Come on now, let's not rewrite the story just 'cause she can sing a sad song. If you're still riding this messy roller coaster with us, hit that like button, subscribe for more juicy drops, and drop your hottest take in the comments. Let's hear it. Is Ariana really just unlucky in love, or is she playing this game a little too well? Look, we get it. Ariana's been super open about her struggles with anxiety, PTSD, and mental health in general. For a lot of people, she was that quiet yet powerful figure who bounced back from tragedy, heartbreak, and the chaos of fame. A survivor, a role model. So when messy drama like this hits the timeline, some folks just don't want to believe she could ever be the one causing the damage. One fan even said, "Okay, I know Ari's human and far from perfect, but so many of us have looked up to her. especially because of how she's handled mental health. And yeah, that makes sense. After Sweetener, her whole image centered around healing, self-love, and rising above pain. But now, people are starting to question if this is really just bad luck in love, or if there's a whole pattern here we've been ignoring. Here's where it takes a wild turn. Some fans are saying Ariana's never been accused of cheating on her own partners, but she's been involved in other people's relationships multiple times. Like, how many times can you accidentally become the other woman before it stops being an accident? There's no way she was clueless every single time, right? One time, sure, maybe someone lied to her, but multiple times, with different guys, across the years, that starts feeling more like a blueprint than a mistake. Now fans are asking deeper questions. Is this about low self-esteem? A need for constant love and validation? Or is she becoming comfortable being the one who causes the drama, even if it means stepping into someone else's relationship? Because let's be real, being fooled once is unfortunate. Being fooled 5 times? That's either serious manipulation or you're in on it. And one fan took it even further. They said this whole thing isn't about cheating or breakups. It's about control. Maybe Ariana doesn't like being vulnerable, so she only gets involved with people who are emotionally unavailable, already committed, or too distracted to get too close. That way, she's always got the upper hand. Damn! That's not just tea, that's a psychological breakdown. So what do you think? Is Ariana just drawn to toxic guys, or does she secretly like the mess more than she admits? Hit that like if you're still with us, smash that subscribe and drop your take in the comments. Because this conversation, it's getting deeper by the second. Now this part right here, this wasn't just gossip. This was a full-blown therapy session. One fan popped off in the comments and gave a take that had everyone doing a double take. She said she used to be a serial cheater. And get this, she used to hate Ariana. Like, not just dislike her, full-on hate. But now, she's calling herself a converted Ariana hater, and what she said hit way deeper than anyone expected. I'm paraphrasing here, but her confession went something like this. I used to stay in relationships I didn't even want. Not because I loved the guy, but because I was scared of being alone. And instead of breaking up like a grown-up, I'd cheat. Low-key, I wanted them to catch me so they'd end it for me. Wild, right? But when you stop and look at Ariana's history, that fan might have just cracked the code. Let's break it down. With Mac Miller, she was out the door and into Pete Davidson's arms in weeks. Then with Pete, as soon as things got rocky and the engagement drama hit, boom, she was gone. And before anyone could catch their breath, she was already booed up with Dalton Gomez. And now, with Ethan Slater, the signs have been there since January. Blind items were already hinting that she was checked out. But instead of walking away clean, she's being linked to Paul Mescal, that SAG Awards mystery man, and who knows who else. Like, is this just a messy love life, or is Ariana subconsciously cheating as a way to escape? That fan literally said, maybe she cheats not to hurt people, but because she's scared of being the bad guy and actually doing the breakup herself. And honestly, that's deep. Deeper than what anyone thought they'd get from a drama thread. So now we have to ask, does Ariana really know what loyalty looks like? Is this another case of serial cheating, or is this relationship just fully done and dusted? Fans are shook, confused, and seriously divided on what to believe. Is she tangled up in yet another love triangle? Or is her time with Ethan officially a wrap? Drop your take in the comments because we need to talk about this one. Don't forget to hit that like button if your jaw dropped at least once during this saga. Subscribe to stay locked in for all the latest celebrity chaos, and share this with someone who lives for the tea. See you on the next one. You know it's only gonna get messier.
Behind closed doors, Katy Perry is freaking out about the flop of Women's World.
I feel super connected to love.
These activists didn't like that she dressed up as an Asian woman.
Katy Perry, please stop. She actually died in the courtroom.
Sing your zombie song, Robot. It's messy.
Slow down. Enunciate the word.
I have 3 kids.
Honey, you've been laying on the table too much.
It's embarrassing to have that on TV, and it was hurtful.
Katy Perry's crash is hard to ignore. Her fall from pop royalty is unfolding right before our eyes, and while her record label is scratching their heads, fans saw it coming from miles away. It all started spiraling when she decided to team up again with Dr. Luke. Seriously? After all the heat around him, that move made jaws drop, and not in a good way. Then came the wild space stunt. Like, who even asked for that? Katy's not just out of touch, she's out of orbit. Now she's pushing a doll of herself for $175? $175 for a plastic version of Katy? Who does she think she is? Fans are fed up, confused, and straight up wondering how things got so weird. Her big comeback? It's been flat, and people are starting to whisper that maybe the magic's gone. Don't get it twisted, Katy was a giant in the game. Smash hits, sold-out tours, top spot on American Idol. She had it all. I even saw her live once. She lit up the stage. But lately, it's like she's been stuck in a glitch. And now, here comes the part you might not want to hear. We gotta rewind to June of last year. That's when the cracks really started to show, and everything began slipping fast. Then came the first snippet of Woman's World. And woo, it flopped straight out the gate. The track felt lazy, aimless, and just plain weak. But what really set fans off? The moment it dropped, people realized Dr. Luke was all over the project, and alarms started blaring. Yeah, Dr. Luke's had his hands in some major chart toppers, but let's not forget, he's also been exposed for some disturbing behavior. So why in the world would Katy bring him on board? It's beyond bizarre. The moment fans caught wind of his involvement, they were done. Remember when Doja Cat called him out too? She basically said she made her whole album solo, yet he still tried to grab the credit. That speaks volumes. If you don't already know the backstory, Keisha sued Dr. Luke in 2014, claiming he did some seriously awful stuff to her. That lawsuit shook the industry. So for Katy to turn around and work with him, especially on songs like Woman's World and Lifetime, tracks that scream female empowerment, fans saw right through it. How can you drop feminist anthems, but then give credit and cash to someone accused of violating women? It feels off, way off. People were side-eyeing that hard. On the Call Her Daddy podcast, Katy tried to walk it back, saying he was one of many collaborators. She defended it by pointing out that he helped make California Girls and Teenage Dream. She thought lightning might strike twice. But seriously, did we all hear the same song? That wasn't it. Katy said, but the reality is it comes from me. She claimed these songs were about her personal growth, her so-called metamorphosis. But then she added that Dr. Luke helped facilitate all that. One of the writers, one of the producers. It left a bad taste. Someone online nailed it. The irony of dropping a song that praises women while working with Dr. Luke. Oof, that hit deep. Katy, girl, nobody saw this coming from you. Even actress Abigail Breslin stepped in and took a swipe, basically saying, working with known abusers in any industry just keeps pushing this twisted idea that men can do awful stuff and walk away clean. And she's not wrong. Let's not forget, Kesha said she was drugged and harmed by Dr. Luke at a party. That case dragged on for nearly 20 years before they finally settled in 2023. He denied everything, of course, but the damage was already done. The internet doesn't forget. Even though Women's World featured our internet icon Trisha Paytas, the whole production still reeked of mixed signals. The music video? Directed by a man. Most of the creative decisions? Also by men. So yeah, people were saying loud and clear, this ain't feminism, it's fake feminism. It doesn't feel real. And in 2025, fans crave authenticity. That's what makes things pop. This question mark, this just feels staged. Then on August 9th, Katy dropped Lifetimes, her second single and music video from 143. For this one, she jetted off to Ibiza. Ibiza, whatever. Point is, it looked more like a luxury vacation than a shoot. But plot twist. Just a few days into filming, Spanish officials showed up. Yup, authorities were called to the scene. Turns out Katy's production team didn't get permission to film in Saline Natural Park, a protected area. The Ministry of Agriculture said flat out her crew skipped the legal process. Another PR mess. And when she's not pushing Dr. Luke into her tracks, she's out here throwing pizza slices at her fans. Actual pizza, just flinging it into the crowd. Like, what? Some of us don't even like getting caught in the rain, let alone pelted with greasy pepperoni in public. Imagine showing up to a concert all excited and bam, someone hurls a slice of pizza straight at you. That's not a joke. That's literally what Katy Perry was doing to her own fans. If you think I'm exaggerating, go look it up. It happened. One person commented, "In Mexican culture, food is only thrown to dogs or other animals, never ever at humans. Super rude." Another fan, Gary, said, "I'd be pissed." And honestly, same here. Picture having to run to the bathroom to wipe off tomato sauce from your shirt, and maybe even your face. That's not fan service, that's just disrespect. Someone else named Kay wrote, "I'm allergic to dairy and gluten, so I would be pissed." And yeah, imagine catching a slice to the arm and having a legit allergic reaction because a pop star thought it'd be funny. That's not quirky, it's careless. I mean, who even does that? Can you picture Taylor Swift throwing pizza? Lady Gaga? Ice Spice? Not even close. This is pure Katy chaos. And she doubled down on that wild energy when she hopped on a space flight. Yep, she really went to space. We all remember that infamous 11-minute ride. She shot up into the sky to promote her album, but let's be real, it felt more like a PR stunt than anything. And yeah, it got attention, but it also had folks raising eyebrows about climate impact. Look, I'm no environmental scientist, but even I know that rocket launches aren't exactly helping the planet. All that fuel, all that pollution, it's giving, we just shaved a few years off Earth's lifespan vibes. Couldn't she have waited until the tech was cleaner, or at least a little less damaging? People aren't mad for no reason. We're living through wildfires, floods, and record heat, and meanwhile, pop stars are out here joyriding in space for clout? You ever just stop and realize we're not really living in the future? Like, seriously, how are we launching people into space, but I still gotta refresh Instagram 5 times just to load one video? That's not futuristic, that's frustrating. Think about it. In the real future, stuff should be instant. No spinning wheels, no loading bars, no endless refreshes. But here we are, still stuck waiting like it's 2012. And shout out to everyone using Cricket, Virgin Mobile, or any of those budget plans. You really know the struggle. I'm on Verizon, and even I'm sitting here wondering, what is my phone even connected to? Dial-up? Meanwhile, Katy Perry's out here taking 11-minute rides into space. For what? Promo? Ego? Who knows? What's clear is, it didn't boost her image. In fact, it kinda backfired, especially with a tour coming up. The whole thing felt out of touch and weirdly timed. And when she tried explaining it, man, it was all love, this, and soul that. The way she talked about the space trip had people convinced it wasn't even real. It just didn't sound like something a regular human would say. Like, was she floating in zero gravity or just floating in her own fantasy? The internet hasn't forgotten and probably won't. That space ride is gonna follow her forever. And honestly, it kinda feels like a part of her stayed up there. Maybe her common sense. Because while she's pushing this new tour, people are wondering if she should have spent less time suiting up for space and more time prepping her vocals, her choreography, something. Sure, you can call yourself an astronaut now. That's cute. But can you still call yourself a top-tier pop star? That's where things get shaky. Even Beyoncé gets heat sometimes for ticket prices or empty seats, but no one ever doubts her stage game. When Beyoncé steps out, she delivers. Katy? At this point, people are starting to wonder if she's more focused on space boots than stage boots. Katy Perry's comeback? Nah, this wasn't a comeback. This was a cry for help. People are straight up saying she should have just stayed low for a while, especially after Taylor Swift came through with the Eras Tour and absolutely reset the standard for live performances. Compared to that, Katy's show looked like a warm-up at a middle school pep rally. One person didn't hold back. "This is the worst choreography I've ever seen in my life." Another said, "It's giving school talent show vibes." And to be honest, they're not wrong. She's been slipping into that energy for a minute now. But this show, this was a new low. Let me jog your memory. Remember that Vegas residency? Or maybe it was during one of her earlier tours, when she literally had toilets on stage. Not a joke, full-on toilets, with fake poop popping out of them. Yes, you read that right. Poop, on stage, during a pop concert. And if that wasn't enough, the iconic California Girls was performed with toy paper, singing poop characters, people in bathtubs. It looked more like a messy parody than a celebration of a hit track. Fans who loved that song were shook. One person even said they couldn't listen to it the same way after witnessing that disaster. And yeah, she wore a sparkly toilet paper outfit too. Can't make this up. The internet wasn't quiet either. One commenter said, "Yeah, I worked with Katy Perry. I played a giant dancing turd." Someone else asked, "What is this tour even about? I want a refund, and I didn't even go." And then there was Gadget Girl, who dropped the mic with this. "This is basically a live-action metaphor for her career right now. Is this a South Park episode?" The crowd isn't laughing with her anymore. They're laughing at her. This isn't quirky. It's just chaos. And then came the classic damage control moment. Guys, cut her some slack. This is just her side gig. She's really an astronaut now. Yep, Katy Perry brought up her Blue Origin space trip again. Because apparently, floating above Earth for 11 minutes somehow makes everything make sense. On opening night of her tour, she hit the stage and, of course, started talking about space. She even pulled two fans up who were wearing black and blue NASA-branded suits, snapping a photo and saying, "I want these gentlemen on stage because they're dressed like my current timeline." Girl, what does that even mean? Nobody came here for NASA cosplay, they came for a show. But despite all the chaos, Katy did finally address the internet firestorm. While the online world's been roasting her, her most loyal fans have been throwing her life rafts. They even went all out and bought her a Times Square billboard just to show love. The message lit up the heart of NYC and read, "Congratulations on opening week of the tour. We're so proud of you in your magical journey, and we love you to the moon and back. Know that you are safe, seen, and celebrated. We'll see you around the world. This is just the beginning from your worldwide cats." Katy responded with a heartfelt Instagram message saying, "Please know that I'm okay." She talked about doing a lot of inner work, knowing who she is, and not letting the noise shake her. She quoted her therapist, who once told her, "No one can make you believe something about yourself that you don't already believe." She added that when she does feel shaken, it's a sign to look deeper into what's really going on inside. When the online world tries to make me a human piñata, I take it with grace and send them love, she wrote, because I know so many people are hurting in so many ways, and the internet is very much a dumping ground for the unhinged and unhealed. But what matters most to her? Seeing fans' faces in the crowd, singing along, sending love notes, and making her feel that warmth. Katie said it herself, "I fall, but I get up and I go on and continue to play the game." She called her journey battered and bruised, but insists she keeps chasing the light, and when she finds it, a new level unlocks. And honestly, she's no stranger to controversy. Katy Perry lives for these moments, and she's been riding waves like this for over a decade. Flashback to 2013, remember the American Music Awards? That performance where she dressed up like a geisha? Yeah, that one. And no, Katy has no connection to Asian culture, yet she went all in with the outfit anyway. It didn't take long for the backlash to hit. Cosmopolitan even called her out, saying the whole thing looked like a mashup of different Asian cultures that didn't even go together. Japanese-style kimono, Chinese-style collar, it looked confused like a costume party with no rules. And people weren't having it. One commenter said it best, "It's disrespectful to treat being a geisha as a costume when it takes a lifetime of training to become one." Facts. That would be like watching Benson Boone hop on stage dressed like a monk just for kicks. It crosses a line, but that's kind of Katie's pattern, right? Pushing boundaries, stirring reactions. Cornrows one day, spacesuits the next, anything to keep people talking. The problem is, the stunts are starting to feel more desperate than daring. And it's not just adults raising eyebrows. Even Sesame Street had to pull the plug on her. Yup. Katie filmed a cutesy duet with Elmo, a family-friendly remix of Hot and Cold. But once producers saw the final cut, they said, nope. Too much skin. Too risky for the kiddie crowd. So guess what? That episode never aired. When Sesame Street, of all places, decides you're too much for TV, that's a serious moment. Katy Perry got banned from Sesame Street. That's not edgy. That's just awkward. But let's be real. Do you think Katy Perry hit this low all on her own? Or is there more to the story? 'Cause it's not just her. Her record labels got hands in this too. And let's not forget American Idol. They've been airing the most awkward, messy moments like they want her to crash. Feels like she's getting set up, doesn't it? Something's off, and it's not just the choreography. So I want to hear what you think. Has Katy been making all these choices solo, or is the machine behind her pulling strings and throwing her under the bus? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Don't hold back. And yeah, I'll catch you in the next video. Things are only getting messier from here. Peace out.
Don't come to my show and it's okay is what Sabrina said, as she's now being criticized for her tour outfits.
Sabrina Carpenter, objectively these days, makes music. Her stage is built to look like a male's genitalia.
Sabrina Carpenter ain't trying to be the next Taylor Swift. She's ditching the sweet girl image on purpose. That Disney charm? Gone. She's diving headfirst into a bolder, more provocative vibe, and some fans are seriously confused. This ex-Disney sweetheart is done playing it safe. She's shaking off that family-friendly label and throwing out content that's way more grown up. Like it or not, she's serving up a new side of herself and making sure everyone sees it loud and clear. Yeah, Sabrina hit the big time last year, riding high with hits like Espresso and Please, 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 but now she's at a major career crossroads. No cap, she's clearly trying to reinvent herself, but it's got people asking, is this glow up or just a meltdown? Truth is, she's not new to the game. She's been grinding in entertainment for years. Remember when she was that bubbly Disney kid with the big smile and even bigger dreams? That's ancient history now. What we're seeing is another classic flip. The same switch we saw with Demi Lovato, Selena Gomez, and Miley Cyrus. Disney darlings turning up the heat as they step into their grown era. It's almost like a rite of passage, squeaky clean stars flipping the script and testing limits the moment they turn the page into adulthood. But is Sabrina owning her power or losing her way? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Do you think she's thriving or trying too hard? Hit that like button if you've seen this story play out before, and don't forget to subscribe for more drama you won't want to miss. But Sabrina's struggling harder than most. One person even called it the curse of the Disney Channel black hole. Why? Because no matter how grown she gets, people still see her as that teenage girl from those rerun Disney shows. Like her past is still playing on TV while she's out here trying to live her adult life. It's like she's stuck in time, and folks refuse to let her grow up. When she first stepped out with that polished pinup pop star vibe, it hit. People loved the glam, the gloss, the glow-up. It was a perfect match for her debut into mainstream music. But pop music moves fast. One second you're fresh, the next you're yesterday's news. And now, it feels like she's scrambling to keep the spotlight. But the rebrand ain't landing the way she hoped, and now the backlash is getting loud. One article dropped the hammer, accusing Sabrina of pushing a raunchy image that's setting women back. That's wild, but it doesn't stop there. Legendary music producers Mike Stock, Matt Aitken, and Pete Waterman jumped in, dragging her lyrics and style as straight-up lazy. They're calling her whole aesthetic over the top and unnecessary. Pete Waterman even went so far as to say Sabrina dresses like a little girl, and he found it offensive. He thinks she's leaning way too hard into sexualizing her image when she could be letting her natural talent do the talking instead. So now the big question is this just part of her evolution, or is she caught in an identity crisis? Let us know in the comments, is she breaking free or breaking down? Smash that like button if you think this controversy is just heating up, and make sure to subscribe for more jaw-dropping updates. So yeah, it's no surprise people are a little stunned hearing Sabrina talk the way she does now. It gives that same whiplash we all felt when Miley Cyrus flipped the script, going from sweet to spicy real fast. Sources say Sabrina struggled at first to find her groove in this bold new image. Word is, she felt like she was acting, not being real. But now, after scoring big with Espresso and Please, 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 she's finally settling into the spotlight. She's loving the fame, no doubt, but it came with a serious style shift. Insiders are spilling that her rise isn't just talent-driven, it's tied to this whole sex pot persona and her cheeky, almost teasing attitude. Ever since she signed with Island Records in 2021, it's been a full-on transformation. And get this, we dug up an old clip of Sabrina performing before she blew up, and honestly, the energy's the same. She's always had that sass, it's just way more amplified now. But here's why I had to talk about this. Some of the recent headlines about her are wild. Sure, she's got major money and a powerhouse team backing her, so they're not about to let anything ruin her image. But when headlines start throwing around words like dirty and vulgar, that's a problem, especially for families. Parents read that and they're thinking twice before buying tickets for their kids. It's like, who's the show really for now? What do you think? Is this Sabrina being her true self, or is it all just part of the act? Drop your take in the comments, hit that like button if this surprised you, and don't forget to subscribe for more tea every week. Even though Sabrina says her music's for adults now, let's be real, she still has tons of young girl fans. Touring with Taylor Swift definitely boosted that younger crowd, so naturally, Some parents still think of her as a safe pick for their kids, but after what's been going down on stage lately, that idea's getting crushed real quick. Take her song Juno. It's been slammed for being way too suggestive. And it's not just the lyrics, it's the performance that's got people talking. Every time she hits the stage with that song, she switches up the moves, literally acting out different bedroom scenes. At one show, she even busted out pink handcuffs and started getting wild with the mic. Yeah, that mic. You don't need much imagination to get the picture. Let me paint it for you. She knows exactly what she's doing up there, and it's pushing the envelope on purpose. So it totally makes sense why some parents are like, nope, we're not bringing our kids to this. Social media's lit up with clips from her shows, and a lot of fans and parents are calling the whole vibe too much and way over the line. They're saying it's vulgar, hypersexual, and just plain awkward when kids are watching from the crowd. Now, don't get it twisted. I believe artists should have the freedom to express themselves. But when your fan base includes minors, you gotta expect some heat when you crank it up like that on stage. What's your take? Is Sabrina doing too much or just doing her? Sound off in the comments, hit that like button if this shocked you, and subscribe for more spicy updates coming soon. But let's be honest, Sabrina's not who she used to be. She came up being compared to Olivia Rodrigo and Taylor Swift. Sweet, talented, relatable. But that girl? She's long gone. What we're seeing now is a whole new persona, and not everyone's vibing with it. One person on Twitter straight up said, "I'm sorry, but am I the only one offended? Like, why is she being disgustingly sexual in front of children?" And trust, that wasn't the only comment sounding the alarm. This all blew up after Sabrina dropped a TikTok on Wednesday. She joined in on that viral "in the club" trend. You know, the one with that wild scene from Broad City? It's known for being edgy, and she definitely leaned into it. But it was her caption that really got people side-eyeing her. It said, "My 30-year-old fans trying to talk to my 12-year-old fans." Like, huh? People were quick to call it out. One Twitter user clapped back, "Well, I hope your 30-year-old fans aren't doing that, Sabrina." And before anyone could jump to her defense with, "Why are kids even going to her shows?" another person shut that down saying, "Remember that? She's encouraging them to come." And it didn't stop there. Another comment blasted her. "She's being so dirty and vulgar to teenagers, it's disgusting." Fans are really split. Some see her as pushing boundaries, others think she's pushing way too far. And just when things were heating up, she dropped a new magazine shoot with W Magazine, and yep, it stirred even more drama. What do you think? Is Sabrina in control of her image, or is it spiraling? Let's hear your take in the comments. Hit that like if this shocked you, and make sure to subscribe for more jaw-dropping updates. Sabrina Carpenter's image? It's taking a step backward, and not in a good way. Her music may be aimed at grown women, but the way she's packaged, it's targeting something else entirely. Critics are saying her whole brand is built around this weird, 90s-style, hyper-girlhood aesthetic, like she's playing dress-up as a little girl, even though she's a grown woman. And whether it's on purpose or not, it sends a really mixed message. The issue is that her visuals and performances invite audiences to view her like she's younger than she really is, like she's playing pretend. One viral TikTok pointed out how Sabrina ends some of her performances with cheeky little outros, stuff that's meant to be cute or flirty, but for some people, it hit wrong, real wrong. Some fans are calling out how she leans into that tiny, sexy girl trope, but with a disturbing twist. She's even dropped lines that straight up compare herself to a prepubescent child. Like, what? That's beyond cheeky. It's unsettling. And it's not just about being playful. Some believe this kind of branding plays into deeper issues, where certain audiences favor her because she looks young and mixes that with adult content. That combo, it's causing serious side-eye across the internet. And the weirdest part? These comments and performances weren't tucked away. They were front and center during her International League of the Less tour this year. She performed in front of mostly adult crowds, because despite what people say about Taylor Swift's fan base, only around 5% of the Eras Tour audience was under 18. So Sabrina knew who was watching when she sang lines like, "I'm full grown, but I look like a niña." Yeah, she said that. So now everyone's asking, is this just edgy pop branding or something way more problematic? Drop your thoughts in the comments, tap that like button if this gave you secondhand cringe, and subscribe for more breakdowns you won't hear anywhere else. And just when you think Sabrina's image couldn't spark more buzz, she doubles down. At her recent shows, fans notice she's been leaning even harder into the controversial persona. One performance had her walking out in a frilly baby pink dress with knee socks, basically looking like she just stepped out of a dollhouse. But minutes later, she's on the floor, arching her back, delivering her most explicit lyrics with a wink. It's the contrast that's throwing people off. 1 second she's sugar, the next she's straight fire. People online are calling it confusing, calculated, and for some, deeply uncomfortable. Critics say Sabrina's playing both sides. She wants to be taken seriously as a grown, empowered artist and keep the attention that comes from appearing young and innocent. That balancing act? It's starting to crack. One fan tweeted, "It's like she's baiting 2 different audiences and hoping no one notices." But people are noticing. And not all the feedback is cute. Some say this back-and-forth identity isn't just messy, it's dangerous, because it blurs real-world boundaries that should stay crystal clear. And the industry? It's watching. Because behind Sabrina's stage presence is a massive machine. Stylists, managers, marketing execs, all helping shape this image. So the real question is, how much of this is truly her, and how much is being manufactured to sell a look that keeps people talking? No matter what, one thing's clear. This isn't just about pop music anymore. It's about perception, power, and the fine line between art and exploitation. What do you think? Is Sabrina pushing creative freedom to its limits, or has the brand gone too far? Hit that like button if you've got questions too. Drop a comment with your take, and don't forget to subscribe for more raw breakdowns you won't get from the mainstream. Now here's where it gets even messier, because some fans are starting to feel betrayed. There's a growing group online saying they supported Sabrina because they saw her as fresh, real, and relatable. But now, they're questioning if that was just part of a carefully crafted image all along. One viral post said, "I didn't sign up to stan a character. I thought I was supporting a real person." Oof. And let's not ignore the timing. Just as Sabrina's music is climbing the charts, the visuals and antics are getting more controversial. Whether it's the lyrics, the outfits, or those now infamous stage performances, it feels like the edginess is being used as fuel to keep her trending. And guess what? It's working. But that's the thing. When controversy becomes part of the marketing plan, it makes people wonder, where's the line between evolution and manipulation? Even fans who once defended her are starting to pull back. One comment read, "At first I thought she was just growing up. Now it feels like she's being turned into something to sell." And when your own supporters start calling out the machine behind the music, that's a red flag the industry can't ignore. Some say it's a smart move, embracing shock value in a crowded pop space. But others argue she's risking long-term respect for short-term attention. And let's be real, the internet never forgets. So, what's next for Sabrina? Will she double down again, or finally address the criticism head-on? Let's hear it. Are fans being too harsh, or are their concerns legit? Smash that like button if you've seen this switch up before, drop a comment to join the convo, and make sure to subscribe for more real talk on your faves. Come put something big in my casita, Mexico. Yeah, she really said that. And then there's the line from Gardens by the Bay. I want to go there, then I'll take you somewhere that has no hair. And she's talking about Singapore. Like, what even is that line supposed to mean? It's got people scratching their heads and asking, who is this music really for? Because if Sabrina isn't making content for kids, then why is she popping up in Fortnite of all places? That game's got a massive kid audience. Sure, adults play it too, but let's not pretend most of the player base isn't under 18. So why is she diving into that world while putting out music and performances like this? Apparently, some of her fans were so inspired by her steamy tour moves that they started recreating them inside Fortnite. Yeah, you heard that right. She now has a Fortnite festival skin, and the animations? They're a little too close to her live stage theatrics. There's a clip floating around of her Fortnite avatar getting down in some suggestive ways. And it's got people seriously concerned. Imagine kids buying her skin and unlocking poses that mirror her risque tour choreography. It's giving mixed messages all over the place. Now you can't scroll without seeing her, on stage, online, in music videos, and now in one of the biggest kid-focused games in the world. So now the question is, what's next for Sabrina? Can she keep pushing this line, or is she about to switch it up for real? Let me know what you think in the comments. Is this all just smart branding, or has it gone too far? Smash that like button if this left you shook, and make sure to subscribe for more deep dives into the pop world's biggest controversies.
That was not a plan, that was not an intention, that was not supposed to happen like that. Initially I was told that, the rap party was something they didn't want to attend. And then about an hour into the rap party, they decided they wanted to. And so I was genuinely just gonna have a conversation before, and then it just led to another. They straight up asked me if I was happy, and I said no. And one thing led to another, and that conversation did take place there.
We need to talk about what's going down with JoJo Siwa right now. Ever since she walked out of that Big Brother house, it's been straight up chaos. First off, boom, she cut ties with her partner Kath Ebbs, just like that. But that was just the beginning. JoJo's been all over the place doing interviews, and the tea she's spilling, it's wild. Now she's even dropping hints about where things stand between her and Chris. The drama didn't end with the show. Nah, it exploded. People everywhere are chiming in. Some folks are saying, she's young, let her grow, while others aren't buying it and claim she